This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samara Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samara Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samara. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samara Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts. I'm your spirited host, Jennifer, a professional medium and a teller of ghost stories. Tonight, dear listener, grab a candelabra. We are going to be wandering the halls of haunted castles. Who doesn't dream of this? A gothic gown, a full moon, ghosts lurking in the shadows of an ancient castle. I am not afraid. I was born for this. After the spooky, stay for the spiritual. Join me at my seance table for a message from the spirits. I take this time to call a spirit close, connected to someone listening to the podcast. And since you're here with me, this message could be for you. That's later on in the podcast. But first, the spooky. The castle hallways are beckoning right now. I've had a few strange experiences, but this one by far was the most unsettling. My sister, my parents, and my grandparents and I stayed at an old National Trust property called Woodsford Castle. The place had a heavy, almost theatrical air. Stone walls, dark wooden beams, silent trophies from former hunts, such as stag heads, were mounted on dark paneled walls. Their glossy eyes stared down at you as you walked underneath them. Iron chandeliers loomed from vaulted stone ceilings. The leather-bound visitor's book was full of questions about whether the castle was haunted. My sister and I were given the oldest room in the castle. Even with all the lights on, it remained dim and cold. There was this odd, needling sensation whenever you were in the room, as though someone wanted you gone. Every time I entered, I felt the same thing, an overwhelming urge to leave, as if something in the room was pushing me out. One night, I got up to use the bathroom. As I came back up the stone staircase, I heard footsteps behind me, a sharp, deliberate clicking that sounded like someone wearing high-heeled boots was following me. I froze for a moment, but then convinced myself it was just my imagination. I returned to our room. As the door creaked open, I noticed someone standing over my sleeping sister. It wasn't anyone from my family. The figure was little more than a silhouette, but enough light caught the outline of what seemed to be a very long dress. This woman stood perfectly still, unnaturally still. Concerned for my sister, I stepped into the room, and the air shifted. The temperature dropped several degrees in an instant, and I felt like I had walked into a freezer. And just like that, the figure vanished. The room gradually warmed, but I had a difficult time sleeping the rest of the night. I found myself waking with a start, scanning the room, expecting to see the ghostly woman had returned. The next morning, I told my mother, who is a firm believer in spirits. She thought the woman might have been trying to drive me away to be alone with my sister. We were so shaken that we cut our visit short and left the next day. Even now, I wonder what that woman wanted and why she had chosen my sister. I just returned from a 2-night stay at Castle Leslie. I knew there were stories of hauntings, but I deliberately avoided reading any details beforehand. And my wife had no idea the castle had a reputation at all. We were booked into Norman's room. The events of our second night's stay left us both shaken. We had returned to our room around midnight, exhausted after a long drive from County Wexford. At some point, after I drifted off, I was jolted awake by a distinct sense that someone was in the room. I could make out the figure of a man sitting in the chair next to our bed. I was frozen. The back of my neck prickled. Then, over the right side of the bed, a mist began to take shape. I watched it hover there, unable to look away. The room felt oppressively warm, but I was too afraid to shift or move from under my covers. What followed was a restless, half-conscious state. I dreamt of lying in the very bed I was in and had other fragmented, unsettling dreams I could no longer fully recall. At dawn, my wife told me she had her own night of vivid dreams, and that at one point, she had woken to see a cloud of mist at the foot of the bed. From the window, we looked out across the vast gardens and the lake. That's when we both noticed something strange. A great wave, a slow-moving wall of water, at least 10 feet high, appeared to be crossing the lake. We both saw it clearly, but by the time I grabbed my camera, it had vanished. That evening, we shared our experience with the night porter. He quietly informed us there were reports of hauntings associated with Norman's room, particularly the bed. He offered to move us elsewhere for our final night. Nothing like this has ever happened to us before. I had always considered myself open-minded but skeptical. We did sleep soundly the next night, thanks to a different kind of spirit. But while we may return to Castle Leslie someday, we won't be sleeping in Norman's room again. I never believed in ghosts, not truly, until I spent a weekend at a haunted keep. The opportunity came from an old friend who had recently inherited the place. He was hosting a small gathering to celebrate. The keep had belonged to his family for centuries, though it had stood empty for decades. It's one of those brooding stone structures, half consumed by ivy, its towers crumbling into the woods. Inside, the air smelled faintly of earth and smoke. Most of the rooms were fairly empty, save for some ancient, dusty furniture. The first night passed uneventfully. I admit there was a little too much wine, and laughter echoed through the empty halls. I was given a small room at the end of the east wing, which was once the servants' quarters. I awoke sometime after 3 a.m. I saw a strange light moving down the corridor outside my door. A faint, flickering glow, as though someone was carrying an old lantern. Assuming it was one of the others, I opened the door. But the hallway was empty. The glow was drifting farther ahead, impossibly steady, its source unseen. I couldn't help my curiosity. I followed it. The corridor curved sharply, leading towards a narrow spiral staircase that I hadn't noticed during the day. The light disappeared down those steps. At the base was a stone passage, colder and damp. It smelled of old iron and mildew. The glow hovered by an arched doorway. I stepped closer. The room beyond had no windows, no obvious source of light, yet the lantern glow lingered, suspended in the center of the space. For a moment, I thought I saw a figure holding it, a pale hand, a tattered sleeve. But then it vanished, and the room went utterly dark. I stood frozen, the air pressed against me. Everything seemed dampened. I couldn't hear my own breath. Then, a whisper, so close it seemed to be inside my skull. Leave. I stumbled back the way I'd come, found the staircase again by feeling alone. I burst into the corridor and I spent the rest of the night in the main hall, too shaken to return to my room. That morning, I told my friend what had happened. He looked pale, then nodded. "You saw her," he said quietly, "the lantern keeper. No one knows why she lingers, only that she doesn't like visitors below the east wing." My stay ended that morning. I haven't been back. But sometimes, when I close my eyes at night, I see that pale hand guiding a lantern that refuses to go out.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I'm here at my seance table and I have a message from the spirit, so thank you for joining me in the candlelight. As I work tonight, I have with me this teeny delicate piece of rose quartz. Rose quartz is all about a love vibration, and it's very healing and soothing and comforting to all matters of the heart. So keep it with you whenever you feel you could use that extra support and comfort emotionally. Okay, tonight I'm going to clear my mind. There's someone already here. He's showing me bikes. He would ride a bike. This feels like brother, cousin energy about him. I'm seeing brown hair, kind of messy in the front. Oh, he's like, I used to wear bike shorts. I don't know why I did it. It was the trend. It was a trend at the time. He seems like a contemplative person. Glasses, easily frustrated. He wanted to do creative things, but never felt like he was creative enough. He was very critical of himself and appreciated others' creativity, like movies, art. Everyone was always the better artist. He's sharing with me he had issues with his stomach. This feels stress-related, but also like sugar level problems as well. Yeah, he's showing me like making banana bread or finding alternatives to sugar when baking and things like that. Okay. You used to date. It doesn't feel like it worked out. This feels like he wants to offer an apology for being so difficult and also not willing to see how he was difficult and how he like wouldn't let your relationship go, but didn't see that there was anything to fix. But that made you really upset, and ultimately you had to break up. He's just sharing this like brief overview of all of it. You feel lighter now. The message I'm getting is, it feels like one of, you're doing the right things. There's themes of nature in there as well, either growing or appreciating nature, cultivating nature. You're getting in touch with your earthy side of things, and that feels amazing. You are on the right path, and I love your individuality, and never let that go. Embrace it and cultivate it even more. Stay dedicated to all the things that you love, and you're going to just celebrate all of it because it's going to work out for you. And it is working out for you. You don't need me to tell you that. Just know that you're doing the right things and you're living your life. And I think that's all we want to do, right? Live our life and be good at living our lives. And yeah, experience everything you can while you're here. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit with this one. If this message connects for you, please reach out because, of course, I would love to know. Thank you. Are you enjoying the podcast? Please leave a kind review or share it with a friend. These small actions take only a few moments, but they immensely help support the podcast. Thank you for supporting my work and the podcast. And with that, dear listener, we have reached the end of this episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you've enjoyed my spirit work that I shared with you this evening, as well as those tales of haunted castles. Have you ever been fortunate to go on a ghost tour at a castle and experience something spooky? I would love to hear about it. I love personal ghost stories, so please reach out. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Elizabeth.
We're sisters, wine lovers, and your hosts for the podcast Spirits Uncorked.
In season 2, we're leaving the haunted waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia and diving into all new spooky stuff. Shadow people?
I've seen them.
Haunted military bases?
I've served on one.
Local restaurants with ghostly reputations?
I work at one.
Okay, if something spooky doesn't happen to you, I worry about you.
The paranormal is my normal.
Plus, we'll sip and chat with horror authors, fascinating guests, and test out some superstitions along the way.
Knock on wood.
So uncork a bottle and pour a glass of the paranormal with us on season 2 of Spirits Uncorked.
Get ready for sips, scares, and sisterly sarcasm.
Stories have always been at the heart of who we are. Across every culture, humanity has passed down tales to share truth, to make sense of the unthinkable, to remember what must not be forgotten. At Macabrium, we continue that tradition. I'm your host, Derek, and every Sunday I bring you the segment Lore and Legends, covering dark oral histories, myths, and folklore told through captivating narrative storytelling. I give you the history, context, and cultural significance of the topic before diving right into an original narrative steeped faithfully in the tradition that inspired and often continues to inspire it. So, from tales firmly rooted in the supernatural on Sundays to meticulously researched true crime on our Tuesday segment, Macabrium delivers thoughtful, engaging episodes that keep you hooked until the very end. Follow Macabrium on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. I'll see you there.